Hey, Nicole Havlicek here from Primetime Pickleball. So we've all been there in the point, right, where the opponent hits a lofty kind of high shot. Maybe it's a bad third shot drop or whatever, but the ball's coming in kind of high. You're up at the non-volley zone line. Your eyes get really big and you're excited because this nice, high, slow, juicy ball is coming in and it's just going to sit there for you to put away and crush. You wind up and bam, you hit it right into the tape, into the net, or you rocket it long or wide, depending on where your target was. We've all been there. Some of us are there more than others, and there's a reason for that, and we're going to get into that in today's video. So let's jump in, let's break it down, and let's figure out what we can do to really minimize missing those easy sitters that we should be making like clockwork, and just punishing our opponents when they lay in those high easy ones. End the point, put points on the board, and come away with the game like we should, because we've earned it. So first, let's take a look at some pro play here. It shows this very well. There's Anna Bright. She's kind of a high third. Ben attacks again. He's really trying to end the point. Deckel and Anna do a really good job of getting it down and reclaiming that non-volley zone line. At high levels, that certainly happens. Let's see another one here. All right, Deckel and Anna are back. Ben's doing a pretty good job keeping them back. Deckel misses it into the tape. All right, let's go back to this first one here. Let's roll through it slowly. So here, Anna could hit a good drop. Very often she does. And then her and Deckel would be able to come into that non-volley zone line and reclaim it and then get into a dink exchange and then proceed to attacking from there. Hopefully, unfortunately, she lofts this higher than she intended. Ben, as he does, sneaks over to attack it. And now Anna Lee and Ben Johns are on the offense, as they often tend to be because they're the best team in the world. Deckel has to defend because Ben hits this pretty aggressive shot. And now Deckel and Anna have smartly retreated all the way to the baseline here in preparation to defend, as they're about to do. And what does Ben have right here? He has this very high contact right here on his forehand. It's shoulder high, and he's getting ready to punish that. Now, how often do you see such a high ball in pickleball? Not super often, right? So that means that we're not seeing it in a lot of gameplay, and that's what many players tend to like to do most. And they think just because it's sitting there and it's easy and easier than most other shots that might be coming in hard and low, that they should be being able to hit that on a dime like clockwork anywhere they want on the court for an easy put away. Well, that's not going to work out well if you don't have a lot of reps on this type of shot. It's actually a very different type of stroke than when you're contacting from here or from down here. We had a lot of shots with contact right around here, around waist level, and also lower, because that's where a lot of opponents are trying to send it, but they're not trying to send it here. So unless we're training that, we don't see a lot of it. So you're going to want to train this up, because it is a very different type of motion to simply come straight through the ball on a high ball than it is to come down and up into a shot that's waist high or so. So that's why we're missing it. You need to see more reps on it. And we'll talk about how to get those quality reps done in just a second. We're also going to talk about the other offensive shots you need when your team is up here at the non-volley zone line and you've managed to push them back at the baseline. You should be able to close the point out at this time, but a lot of players may struggle with it because their offense might not be as accurate as they'd like it to be. It's not as easy to put away a shot that's just sitting there as some players think it is. You have to generate all the power on the shot. It's a lot easier when you get a little help from some incoming pace on the ball and you get some rebound effect happening off of your paddle face in addition to the power you're generating from your swing. When it's just kind of sitting there and you have to put all the pace on it and be accurate, it seems easy, but it's not as easy as you think. So let's talk about the different shots that Ben uses here to really be offensive and try to close out the point. He didn't end up being able to do it, which at pro levels does happen and could certainly happen on the rec court as well, and does. And that's fine, but many times he's going to be closing this out, and these are the shots that you need to do it. So after she hits this high drop here, you see that he scoots all the way over, and you have to be able to hit this mid-height attacking ball. that you go over and get. Here you have to be able to hit this high shot. This actually, as much as it's the easiest shot in theory, might be the toughest simply because we don't hit it that often. So it's a little bit deceiving. Here he hits a really high backhand offensive shot. That's not the easiest, to hit a high backhand attacking shot. Just need that one as well. Here's another high forehand. Here's a mid-height backhand roll. And then Deckel hits a great drop, and they're able to get in behind that. Let's take another look here at the different shots Ben hits to try to close out the point. In this case, he does. So here I think Annalie just hit a sensational deep return, pressed Deckel back. Anna Bright here was trying to come in. Then she has to stop because Deckel's way back here. There's no chance he's coming in, and he hits a so-so drop. Ben can be offensive with this. Anna cannot poach to get it. So she has to back way off. She's going to scoot back all the way to here. Deckel attempts this other drop. That does bounce, but because it's so high, this can be the problem with shots sometimes. We're also going to talk about this one that you're going to need in your toolbox. About this shot that Ben's about to hit right here. He sees the incoming shot that it's going to bounce high if he were to let it bounce, so he opts to do that rather than reaching in and trying to hit a reaching volley out of the air here, which we'll see how that can go badly in another clip. He lets it bounce, come up, and then he's able to be aggressive there, puts it in a good spot. Deckel cannot come up with it. Okay, so we're going to run through those different shots and how to train them. There's 2 ways to do it, essentially. One, you can grab your ball machine. I have my slinger bag out here. I'll show those settings later in a second. I also, the other day, pulled a partner out here, a friend of mine, and I had him feed me this type of shot, different mixtures, some that would bounce, some that would get a medium contact, low contact, and high contact. I would try to keep him back, so I'd be hitting back in this zone. And I had to try to end the point. That was my goal. And what he had to do was defend successfully and then make his way up to the non-volley zone line, hit one dink successfully from here. And that was a win for him because he was able to defend my offensive positioning here and neutralize it and get back to neutral with both of us at the non-volley zone line. So that's all he had to do, was defend and earn his way up to the non-volley zone line with strong defense and ultimately a good drop that he could transition his way behind in, even if he had to hit more than one drop. So not an easy feat, but certainly a great way to train your defensive skills. So the ball machine fed me high balls like this. You'll want to be able to take that down the line like I did there. Also deep here. And if the partner is up in the court, you might want to rocket some this way so that you're comfortable doing that as well. So you essentially are trying to get them deep or at a player's feet if they happen to be up in the court. So those were the very high ones. Here's like a medium height swing, and I'll show the side view in a second. Here's a lower contact. That's slightly below the net. And then we have this one where I can't get it out of the air reasonably without stretching too far, so I have to let it bounce and come up, and then I can be offensive from there. I still have a few more things to show you here, but if you're enjoying this video, please go ahead and hit the like button and also subscribe and hit that bell icon so you can be notified of future videos as they come out. Also, it really helps get these videos out to more people, more broadly, and I really appreciate it. Now this side by side is to show how you would decide if you're going to take it out of the air versus let it bounce. So let's slow this down and go to contact. So on this one, it's reasonable to take it out of the air. This one, it's not reasonable. You only want to take it out of the air if you can still keep your paddle relatively parallel to the net while you're contacting the ball. That's okay. This is the end of the range at which you want to contact. Here, notice how I bent my knees a lot and I got super low to try to reach out as far as I could. And then I still had to send my paddle out a ways. And only then could I reach the ball. That's too far. I can't do much with that. I certainly can't hit it offensively. The chances of me hitting a weak shot are very high. Only if I could get my paddle to be in this type of position here and the ball were here, would that be reasonable. So this is too far. This is the furthest at which you want to take it out of the air. So now let's take a look at what you'd want to do instead of reaching in too far like I did on this one. So one more. Okay, now let's slow this down. We'll run through it slowly here. There's the bounce on this one. That one I went to go get it. Let's freeze it at contact. So if it's coming in kind of high and you know it's going to bounce rather high and you can get a reasonably high contact, I'm in a much better situation here than I am here. Even if I could get the paddle straight and contact it here, the net's still right in my face. I have to hit quite a bit up. I can't be as offensive with it as I can from this height of a contact. Also, I'm a little bit further back with the contact, so the net's not right in my face, and I have a little bit of higher contact point, as I mentioned, so I can hit more straight and less up than on this one. So my opportunities are more on this shot than that shot. That's why we do prefer to let it bounce sometimes. Reaching in can be a good idea if you're really trying to take time away or something like that. But when you're making the decision between this and that, I would opt for this. You have a much easier shot here and more opportunities than this. Don't stretch yourself too far just for the sake of trying to take it out of the air. But if you can take it out of the air and get reasonable body positioning with your paddle more parallel, and you can get it maybe like this height or here, then that's okay. It can be a bit lower than that, but too much lower is not going to be very good. You're going to want to let that bounce instead. All right, let's take a look at these side-by-side forehands. This is a high contact, this is a medium height contact, this is a low contact. I'll slow them down here in just a moment. All right, so let's take a look at the differences here. Okay, look at these takebacks. So I see this one is going to come in high. I see this one's going to come in mid, and I can see this is going to come in low. So look at the different takebacks. Here I know I'm going to have to reach in, so I don't really take any backswing at all. I'm pretty much getting ready to drop my paddle, get under it, and roll it. Here I can see it's going to come in somewhere in this range, and so I'm going to turn and really try to unload on it with a little more power, do a little bit more damage than on this one. And here I can see it's going to come in quite high. So I'm getting ready to punish it even more, since I really can hit down into the court and really lay into this shot, put a lot of power on it as much as I can while still controlling it. All right, so let's move along in the shot. Those differences in takebacks are very interesting. So remember I pointed out that these shots are all different. Like, they could look similar when you're just watching them, but when you're hitting them, they look different and they feel different. And you have to train them all separately so that you can hit them all when the time is there. All right, so here we are at contact. Here's like nearly a shoulder high contact. Here's like a belly button high contact, and here's a low contact. So you're going to want to train all of these up. You're going to see a lot more of these and these probably as you're playing, so you might have more practice on these out of match play, but very little on that, even though technically and in most people's view, it's the easiest. It may also be the most missed because we just don't have a lot of practice on it. So get out there and practice this high one so that when it comes, you can be punishing and end the point like clockwork. Similar scenario on the backhand side here. You're going to need all of these heights. Let's take a look at a few of these and I'll slow it down. All right, so this one's going to be a high contact. This one's going to be a mid contact. The high contact on the backhand, as juicy as it looks, can be very tricky. It's not the easiest thing in the world to hit a high backhand attacking shot. All right, so there we have it at contact. Let's back it up a little and look at the differences from the beginning. So here on the left, you can see I'm going to take it back higher in preparation of coming more straight through the shot. So here I'm going to go a little more straight through, and here I'm going to go a little bit more low to high. See the difference there? Those are very different. They look almost the same in real time, but hitting them and being able to hit them technically sound when you're out there does feel very different. So you're going to want to train up these different heights so that you're a menace, and when you get your opportunity, you do end those points and you're very punishing. Let's look at the second set of backhand side by side. This one's going to be a low contact out of the air. This one's going to be when I opted for a bounce because I saw it was going to be too much of a reach for me. So let's take a look in real time here. One more, and then we're going to slow it down. All right. All right, let's look at the difference from the beginning. Look at this one here, how I'm looking to take it out of the air. That's what I'm thinking right now. I think I can reach it. I remember this shot. But then I have to bail because I can see that I'm not going to reach it, and I let it bounce instead. And I still hit that deep and try to keep applying pressure with depth. I didn't hit it very hard, but I got it deep. So depth is key. If you can't get a lot of power on it, on this one I couldn't. Depth is what's going to help you still remain offensive and keep your offensive positioning. Now let's take a closer look at this one on the left as I go through it here. It's more of your classic backhand roll. I really sit because I know that contact's going to be low. There it is. Look how I really did a nice job of separating the arms there as I send that swinging arm forward. That's a pretty classic backhand roll. It's going to send that deep and put pressure on them. My examples here were all from the odd side, but you're certainly going to want to be able to hit all of these different heights, and regardless of whether it's out of the air or a forehand or backhand, from the even side as well, to any location you would want to on the court. So make sure you're training that up from the even side as well. And the key to all of this is to make sure that you are able to hit it from all heights and still apply pressure. So be able to put heavy topspin on it, a lot of power on it if it's very high. And don't forget to train those high ones a little bit extra since you don't see a lot of those in-game play. So definitely don't neglect those. Have the ball machine feed come in high or the partner feed come in high, so you can train up that high contact offensive weapon of yours on both the forehand side and the backhand side. It's a lot harder than most people realize to be accurate with that high contact when you're trying to hit it super hard and you rarely ever train it. Lastly, here I want to show the slinger bag settings if you happen to have a slinger bag. So here they are, the front facing settings as well as the incline. Since I'm simulating a bad drop, it's on the highest angle of incline and it's not very fast. Thanks so much for joining me in this video today. Please click on this next video here so you can get more great tips on how to play better, have more fun, and win more along the way. We'll see you in the next video.